Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Learning to Grow. Today I'm going to be talking about how to plant garlic. For those of you that don't know, garlic is actually supposed to be planted in the fall in almost like any climate. I didn't actually know this to start out. If you allow them to grow over the winter, they'll have a nice robust root system and they'll just be ready to go as soon as the weather warms up in the spring. And you'll end up harvesting them in like June, maybe July, and that way you just won't have like a really disappointing harvest like I've had for the past 2 years. So to start out, I just needed to get rid of some of the leftover dying plants that I have growing in the garden, and that's namely my tomatoes. So I had my cover crops. They're still growing in really nicely. They're a little bit frost damaged, but it hasn't killed them yet. So they'll probably keep growing until there's like a really bad frost, which is totally fine by me. So the longer they can grow, the better. So what I ended up doing was taking down this Florida weave system that I had up that was trellising my tomatoes. I was actually like pretty disappointed with the way it performed. It was probably partly user error because I just wasn't in the garden enough. For those of you that don't know, a Florida weave is just like a method of trellising tomatoes where you weave a string in between like two metal posts, like alternating between each tomato plant. And so the strings like weave around each main stem and support the tomatoes that way. I wasn't a huge fan of it just because I wasn't in the garden enough while they were growing like the fastest to keep restringing new strings. And I also use like a really natural like baling twine that I just don't think could support the full weight of the tomatoes. I think for next year, I'm actually going to use like a metal fence to support them, which I think will be like a lot sturdier. But instead of letting all the tomatoes go to waste, I chopped them up first using a lawnmower, and then that just kind of smushed them. So then I ended up chopping them by hand with a machete, and it was actually amazing how much they broke down to form like a mulch where they were sitting. But they'll break down over the winter and provide a lot of great nutrients to what I plant there in the spring. So the garlic variety that I got is something called Belarus. I got it from Seed Savers Exchange, just like I got my seeds. The same place I got my seeds from for the hoop house. I was a little late to the game. I think most people order them in like early September. I ordered them at the beginning of October. So the more popular varieties like music and stuff were out of stock. But I was pretty impressed. The bulbs were really big. From 5 bulbs, I netted about 41 cloves, I think. So that'll be plenty of garlic for next year. When you order seed garlic, it comes as just like garlic cloves that you then replant. Garlic doesn't, as far as I'm aware, domesticated garlic doesn't even grow seeds, so I don't even think it is possible to plant them from seeds. If they do come as just full cloves in the mail, you would think, why don't I just like buy cloves from the store, from like the grocery store, and just plant those? And I think you can do that. The issue is in all the processing, they could have picked up some sort of disease. You don't know how healthy they are. The quality isn't like guaranteed. You don't know what like the variety is. So I think it's just better to order from like a reputable place. So for plant spacing, I just did 2 rows in 2 separate beds, and then I'm going to interplant different things around the 2 rows in the spring. But I spaced them about 6 inches apart because garlic really likes its space, compared to onions, which don't mind being clumped up at all, and they'll actually just push each other apart if they grow too close together. But garlic definitely will not do that. You want to plant at a depth between 2 inches to 4 inches. The warmer your climate, the shallower you can get away with planting them. But the colder the climate, the more insulation you're going to want. So I think I averaged about like 3 inches deep just because zone 6B, it's not like super cold, but it's also not super hot either. So the Belarus is a hard neck variety. So there's soft necks and there's hard necks. Hard necks do better in colder climates and soft necks do better in warmer climates. The nice thing about hard necks is since they can survive the cold, you can plant them in the fall and then they'll have plenty of time to grow before their harvest in like June or July. They do have a better flavor too, like a more pungent garlic flavor. Their only downside is they don't store as long. They'll store for like a couple months instead of like 6 months to a year with soft neck garlics. But I don't know if you jar them I'm not going to have garlic sitting around that long. So I don't think it's going to be a huge problem for me. So yeah, I know I'm a little late posting this compared to when most people should be planting garlic. It probably should have been about 2 weeks ago. But if you're watching this video next year, next fall, then it'll be super useful. So I hope you guys enjoyed and learned something, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one.